Good afternoon, everybody. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Got to share something with you today. What kind of tests are you going through? What kind of trials are you going through? Is your faith being tested? I want to ask you something. Did you take up your shield? Did you take up your shield? The Bible says in Ephesians chapter 6, we take up the shield of faith to quench every fiery attack of the enemy. All the time we're faced with trials and with battles and with difficulties that God puts in our path. But God never allows us to go through things to destroy us. How many of you know God puts us through things to refine us, to strengthen us? It says in 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 7, verse 6 and 7, it says, "In this you greatly rejoice, though now for a little while, if necessary, you have been tested by various trials. But the genuineness of your faith, which is more precious than gold that perishes, it is tested by fire. But that faith will be found to praise and honor and glory at the revelation of Jesus Christ." Now, there's something about a shield, right? A shield is for protection. Sometimes a shield can be used in an offensive way to combat the enemy. And when David conquered the Philistines, and he conquered the Moabites, and he went on his conquest, and he defeated all of his enemies, the Bible says David gathered all the shields of gold and brought them to Jerusalem. And now everything in the Old Testament points to the New Testament. The New Testament is the Old Testament concealed, and the Old Testament is the New Testament revealed. And so when we see David with these shields of gold, it says that he brought them to Jerusalem to put them into the temple. Now, David was on a conquest. David was undergoing trials. David was going through the battles. But David had strong faith. And David got the victory. And God gave him those shields of faith, which he used in the tabernacle to represent the shields of faith. The shields of gold representing the shields of faith. So the Bible, in Peter, we just read that our faith is more precious than gold. Now, gold only becomes precious when it gets refined, when it goes through the fire. And it just said that our faith is tested by fire. And so a shield is very similar, where a shield has to undergo tests to see if it's strong enough to withstand the blows and the batters of the enemy. And so, do you have your shield of gold? Gold also speaks of divinity in the Bible. So, do you have that shield of gold, the faith that is tested, that can withstand any blow of the enemy, that can withstand any lie of the enemy, or any persecution that comes your way? I ask you, put on the full armor of God so you can stand against the wiles of the enemy. Ephesians chapter 6. Take up the shield of faith to quench those fiery darts, to quench every negative word that people speak about you, to quench every negative circumstance that comes your way. Stand on faith. Take up your shield of faith, your shield of gold, and walk victoriously today. God bless.